Gale nearly got a flick on that.
Can he put it into the path of Latterline? He's thinking about going himself. Latterline, and Latterline! Oh, that's a wonderful goal!
Now on to Benjamin. Just holding off him. Benjamin twisting, turning, that's it!
It's Liam Henderson to deliver. David Gray has scored.
Hello and welcome back to Down the Slope. It's the third different voice you've heard hosting a show in the last week. Or did I host last week? I can't remember. Did Harry host? Who knows? It's Derby week. Hibs are on the back of what I described as an excellent point at Celtic Park. That got some interesting critique on the old X. Craig, you made the trip along to Glasgow. In general, were you happy with what you saw?
Yes, aye. To be fair, mate, I don't think you can ever knock a clean sheet at Celtic Park. I was trying to work out how many times I've actually seen us not lose at Celtic Park, and to be honest, I think that is probably the second time behind the two each John McGinn game. So,
right.
No, I left the game well satisfied. Obviously, I think under the current circumstances, the amount of draws we're getting. Perhaps over the wider fan base, that maybe takes a wee bit of a shine off of what would otherwise be considered a really, really good result.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me personally. I was well happy with it. And I think it's the first of two very difficult fixtures that we'll have coming up. So, yeah, happy.
Yeah, I mean it is a continuation of five draws in a row in the league, and but we were chatting about it. That look, we'll get into the game a little bit, but in my opinion, there's good points, there's bad points, and there's excellent points, and that is definitely an excellent point. I don't care really how good or bad or indifferent you think a Hibs team is at any given moment. I think going to Celtic Park and getting a point, and actually I think more importantly for this Hibs side at this current moment in time, a clean sheet as well, with the rate, the sort of the goals that we've been conceding this year. I think that sort of backs to the wall, but a comfortable backs to the wall, if that makes sense. Not like we weren't getting battered throughout the game. Like I think that should give especially the defensive players that sort of confidence again to say, we can do that, we can play well, we can keep clean sheets, because I think we have taken quite a lot of gut punches this season, especially with the goals that we conceded in some of the European games, and obviously in the last couple of league games as well before Celtic. But if we go back to obviously before the game, couple changes maybe surprised you. Maybe a couple of changes that didn't take place surprised you as well. The sort of standout before the game would have been Rocky not being at centre back. What was your thoughts before the game?
Given that it wasn't in the squad, I think it clearly was more of a enforced thing. I know there's a few rumours been flying about as to why he wasn't in the squad, but I think when it's enforced, I never really take much issue with it. Or get too concerned about it, because ultimately that's what you would do. And to be fair, I think Hanley, every time he's played so far this season, has come in and been very, very solid. And even in the Scotland games as well, by the way, he was good, which in the past has taken a lot to get credit out of me for Hanley in a Scotland shirt, because not been too keen in the past, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
But I think he's been impressive form recently, given that he's not actually played that great a deal of football, to be fair. He's been kind of in and out.
Yeah.
And I think obviously coming in to Celtic Park for any player would be difficult, but I think his pure experience would have seen him through nicely there, and I don't think it would have actually fazed him too much, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Grant Hanley got man of the match as well, and I think he was the standout in the back line. I think now a lot of the time I do think that when you play that sort of back three, you will see the middle player, getting a lot of the credit, and that's it. Because they're more of the head it and kick it, they're in the middle of the box to make the sort of last ditch blocks and stuff like that. But do you think we've seen sort of Jack Iredale getting back to his best as well, and a sort of continuation of Warren O'Hora's early season form alongside him?
I wouldn't go as far as saying back to his best.
Right.
There was a couple of things, again, a couple of times where I thought he slashed at the ball and whereas in the past last season he's been very, very calm and sort of unfazed. Still, just a couple of things. The positive thing on this time is, remember, what would it have been? That would have been the second half, I think, because we were defending the far end. He sclaffed one down the line. It went straight to one of their players, and we got away with it, which recently just hasn't been happening. We've been making mistakes and getting punished the vast majority of the time. So hopefully he can take a wee bit of confidence and kind of kick on and get back to the form that he was shown before. Because I think obviously it was Lewis Miller more so at right centre half, but I think Warren Hora's kind of cemented himself in that position for me anyway. Because I think he's been our most consistent defender this season when he's been in.
Yeah.
I know he shouts for Rocky, but honestly, I think Hora's been very, very good. On Iredale, yeah, I'm happy to see him back in the team, and hopefully he can kick on a wee bit.
Well, defensively then, so obviously we're saying Hanley gets man of the match, rightly so. O'Hara's been one of, if not the best or most consistent players, and he's played as well. Do you think Rocky will come straight back in this weekend, or do you think you kind of have to say, it's unfortunate timing, but when the defence play the best they have, that's the way it is?
I would probably tend to agree with that, mate. Look, I think we always say whenever your team's playing really well and somebody's on the bench, you need to essentially wait on something happening, whether that's that person making a mistake or going into bad form so you can get back into the team. And unfortunately for Rocky, he's come out of the team, like you say. Hanley's come in, played really well, and I think Rocky now, for me anyway, has to just bide his time. It'll happen at some point. He'll get back into the team. I don't think it's necessarily Rocky doesn't individually doesn't deserve to get back in the team, but I think it's probably more so Hanley doesn't deserve to come out the team after such a good performance.
Yeah.
So I would be inclined to start him. Again, I think that experience can only be a good thing going into a game at Tynecastle.
Yeah, and I think the way that Tynecastle's set up as well, it's such a tight pitch. The ball generally finds its way into the sort of centre of the pitch sort of consistently. Really, it's not a place that's really conducive to sort of wide play, and I think maybe that in itself would suit Hanley as well. I think he kind of thrives in that, almost like when you're under it a little bit, and
the head at kick
literally,
game,
yeah,
flying.
not to do him any disservice either. He's just, he's a very experienced defender that's obviously played at sort of a very good level internationally. But I think he's got over 50 caps for Scotland. That could be a complete and utter lie, but it can't be far off. And I think he's played Premier League. He's got 63 caps for Scotland. It's an interesting one, and I think Rocky's been absolutely fine this season, but I think we've seen it enough with David Gray in last year, and when the team performed well, he ran with it. We've seen it where, the team when things were going poorly this time last year, we went to Ibrox, performed well, didn't come away with a result, but I remember we then played Motherwell at home, and he went, well, the guys played well, and it backfired. But I couldn't, going away to Hearts, I think you've just kept your first clean sheet of the season. I think it would be a bit of not a mistake to bring Rocky in, but I think you've got to say, guys, you've done your job at Celtic Park, go again. And that would be across the back five for me, including Jordan Obita and Josh Mulligan as well, to be fair.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, that does take us into the midfield, though. Was there some chat, maybe Chaiwa?
I think Chaiwa pulled his hamstring maybe or something. Because I seen him after the game when he was coming over at Hibs fans at the end, he had a bit of a limp on.
Right.
So it was definitely injury of some sort. And obviously McGrath as well, I think, was feeling his ankle. He took a couple of knocks out. It felt like he was just in the battle for the full 30 minutes that he was on. I think he went down 3 times. So hopefully, I'd be more concerned about McGrath than Chaiwa. I don't mean that as a dig at Chaiwa in any way, shape or form. It's more so I just think McGrath's so influential to this team at the moment.
Yeah, so it says, David Gray after the game in the Hibs Observer was quoted, Jamie could feel his Achilles a little bit tender during the first half. It's niggling away a little bit, felt a lot better yesterday, but today was feeling it. and Miguel hamstring in the first half. On the positive side on that one, I'm not going to get into all the full extent of it, as he was able to come off at half time. He was aware of it, didn't ask to come off, just said he could feel his hamstring. So basically said, won't be risking either of them, but just have to wait and see. Obviously, that's on Saturday. We're recording on Monday, so there's still a full week of training ahead of that. Does that lead you to think then that Chris Cadden will regain his right wing back place and Josh Mulligan will move into the centre of midfield as he did in the second half?
I kind of hope so, to be honest. I know there's obviously a lot of debate going around about Josh Mulligan at right wing back, because he's more than good enough to play right wing back. Absolutely. He played at a lot of games there for Dundee. He's absolutely good enough to play there, but I just think he benefits the team much more when he's in the centre of the park. I think for having seen them now in both, I think centre midfield is definitely his stronger position and suits his attributes a lot more. And I think especially at Tynecastle, like you said earlier, the ball does tend to spend a lot of time in and around the centre of the park, and I think his energy in there could be massive, especially after a full week's rest. Start him in the middle of the park, and I think that would be a good thing for us.
Yeah. So any other sort of standouts or anyone that you wanted to call out from the weekend?
Sallinger, I thought he was excellent.
Okay.
Dealt with everything very, very well. Still a couple of kicks going out of the park, but I think he's obviously been asked a lot of the time to play that sort of
to the wing back, like
the chipped ball to the wing backs. That's the one that was going out of the park if it was.
Do you know what I don't mind with him, Craig?
Tactic.
It felt to me that any time it went out of the park, it was when he's tried to play it sort of less floaty and more sort of driven, and he's just overhit it a little bit. And for me, I'd much rather see that, and like that. Just it's almost like a confidence, he's just overhit it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think like he's trying to be a little bit less safe. The quicker it gets there, maybe we can, try to play it to their chest instead of sort of a 50-50 sort of air like fight in the air. I thought Sallinger was good. Credit to the defence. I don't think he really done anything that. I don't think he made any saves that I'm thinking that's an unbelievable save. I think in general Hibs limited Celtic to pot shots. Obviously had a great chance on the counter attack, which came from our own corner and sloppy play in the middle of the pitch. But I agree though. I think Sallinger played well. Certainly seems that he's the number one now.
Yeah, it does. Well, that's what 3 games on the bounce. Played Ibrox, Falkirk, and now Celtic. So it definitely seems like he's the man at the moment. And to be fair, I think he's good value for it just now, isn't he? I know you're saying
I wasn't a criticism of him.
None of them are worldly saves or anything like that. But the one that I'd like to highlight in particular, I actually thought we would go under the radar a wee bit for being a great save, was in the second half. They had a shot around the edge of the box. I think it was near the end actually. And it came through a lot of bodies, and he must have seen it right at the last second and got his body behind it, but managed to push it away, because if it had just dropped down in front of him, it was a tap-in.
And he had that one late on and he went out of the box, and I think he had one in the first half as well where McGregor has sort of hit it straight at him through bodies and he's palmed it, but he's got it out. It's went way past the post and it's not went back into the danger zone. No real complaints with me with Sallinger at all, to be honest. At Ibrox, I thought maybe he looked a little bit unsteady with crosses. Now, I think there's 2 things for that. Maybe it's not his game in terms of coming to command his box. I don't think he really particularly done that with corners at the weekend either. But also, there is still a rawness to a goalkeeper. I think goalkeeper probably more than any other position. I think it's probably harder for you to get into your flow, especially when you've not played a lot of games. I think it can take you a little while. We've seen that with Jordan Smith last season, where he came into the team, didn't play well against Aberdeen on the first night. You've seen some improvement against Motherwell, and as the season went on, Smith grew into the shirt and got better and better. So I think we'd probably see the same with Sallinger.
But the size of him, you would be, but perhaps it's maybe a wee bit of a lazy.
You would want him to.
Yeah, I would like to see him as we go forward. Like you say, as he settles a wee bit more. He is only sort of 3 starts in now. As he goes on and gets a wee bit more settled, I'd like to see him coming for a bit more crosses, commanding his box a wee bit better. But that'll come with more and more he gets comfortable with his defenders as well.
And the man in the picture here, Kieran Bowie, certainly in the second half for me, gave the Celtic backline, Liam Scales is pictured there, I think, gave them a real tough time in the second half. I felt maybe at times in the first half, he maybe didn't do enough to sort of get us up the pitch a little bit. And again, it was a lot of fouls. And look, it's not like we didn't really create anything in the game, did we? We had a really good chance right before half time at a set piece where Hora just sort of scooped it over the bar. But I thought Bowie done his job well, especially in the second half, and just winning the fouls that just give you that little bit of respite. And it kind of I don't know how you felt at the game, but watching at home for me, it led to a 0-0 at Celtic Park, kind of flying by almost. It didn't it just felt. It felt comfortable to me. I know Celtic hit the bar from a good chance, and they obviously hit the bar from a pop shot in the first half. But
that was a cross, by the way. I don't know if it showed up on the telly, but it was 100. Our angle was perfect on it.
Totally
He was looking right across the box. He just missed it completely.
I just think for about 70 minutes when Celtic sort of made their subs, I thought they ran out of ideas, and Hibs just seen the game out well. Was there any frustrations for you that maybe we didn't have a bit more of a go, or?
Yeah, inevitably when you see as little of the ball as we did, and appear to be as happy ultimately as we were to kind of sit in, I think clearly we went there with the game plan of let's absolutely try and frustrate them, sit in, get a point, and if we can, we'll hit on the break at some point or a set piece or whatever. But I think given the context of the recent games, I think it's fair enough really to just try and shore up. Like you say, to be fair, it'd be difficult for them to cut us open when we were sitting quite as deep as we were. But the only time that they really actually opened us up was on that counter attack that Ian actually hit the bar from. Other than that, I felt like most things were in front of us, and they were, to be fair, maybe indicative of kind of how they are just now. They look like they were maybe struggling to break us down when we were sitting in, maybe a wee bit of lack of creativity from them. But also we were just solid. We were solid, and would I go as far as comfortable? I think it's probably about as comfortable as you could be at Celtic Park.
Yeah.
Because normally you would expect the onslaught at some point. The first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, I thought we really struggled. We struggled to get hold of the ball, to get out really at all. But then, to be fair, I thought Josh Campbell done really well in that sort of around the 60th minute mark of the game. He was winning a couple of fouls up our left hand side, their right hand side, and managed to get us out the box a wee bit and up the park. Look, it wasn't absolutely not one for the entertainment value or anything like that, but it was a point, and it was a good point, and it's a clean sheet at Celtic Park. So I think
Celtic haven't failed to score at home in the league since December 23. That is and this is where people need to, and you see Celtic fans saying, Hibs just came and parked the bus, Hibs come and done that, this, that, and the next thing. The irony cannot be lost on you that Celtic fans think they're a worldwide massive club, a team that should be competing on the continent, a team that have got resources that Hibs could only dream of. We are literally, in terms of a financial aspect, playing different sports. But even last year, Celtic fans were raging when they went to Dortmund, opened up and got sliced apart. They then played their next game in the Champions League, didn't they kick a ball in Atlanta, got a 0-0 draw, and were delighted. This is the narrative that teams in Scotland should be going to Celtic Park and when Rangers are better, because I think just now you can go and try and have a go at Rangers, but you should be opening up and trying to have a go and winning games of football. Obviously you want to do that, but why would you leave you seen on the counter? If you give them space, they can kill you. It's lazy, and it just screams to me a fan base that just don't want to sort of admit their own shortcomings. Really, I was really impressed with Hibs actually at the weekend, and really happy with the clean sheet given what we've seen so far this season. A real positive going into what is a massive derby game on Saturday, Craig. we've not been to Tynecastle for about 8 or 9 months. Boxing Day last year, because obviously Hearts were a bottom 6 side last season. Last time we were there, this man Dwight Gale silenced the home crowd with a wonderfully taken goal.
What a player by who?
What I find interesting, the man who put the ball in for him, Nicky Cadden, obviously got man of the match that day. I think he got both assists. I think he put the corner in for the Josh Campbell / own goal in the first half as well. For that reason, and given with the tight pitch and stuff, and Nicky Cadden's sort of proficiency at crossing the ball from deep as well, would you be inclined to bring Nicky Cadden back into the side?
It's very difficult at the moment, isn't it, to pick some of these guys, because I feel like with a Nicky Cadden, a beta thing, it almost feels like you're wrestling between defensive or attacking, depending on who you pick. I would probably be inclined with Obita. I just think he's playing better just now, to be honest. And he still gives you good delivery. It's not like you lose your delivery completely if you're putting Obita instead of Cadden. Obviously, we all are well aware what Cadden brings. But I think we'll be going to Tynecastle, and I think we're going to face a lot of pressure, particularly early doors, I would imagine. I can't see any scenario that they don't come absolutely flying out the traps, given how well they're going just now and the feeling around Hearts at the moment. So, maybe I'd be more inclined with a beater, just given current form.
Okay. No, I think I would certainly feel comfortable with either of them, but probably going into the game, and I know, and that's a stark contrast to what I said just a couple of weeks ago about Nicky Cadden. But I think the tight pitch defensively helps wing backs as well, because there's not as much room for you to be exposed 1v1 in situations. So I think if the decision was made to play Nicky Cadden, I mean, ultimately it's a positive move, and it would be one that I would be supportive of as well. The middle of the pitch it will be interesting though. Obviously, if Chaiwa and McGrath are out, would it feel fairly straightforward that it would be Campbell and Mulligan that would probably fill their roles in your mind, or do you think Dylan Levitt would be looking to stake a claim in there?
You're asking me all the difficult selection choices here. Definitely Mulligan, as I said earlier. I think, to me, that's a no-brainer. Get him in the middle. The energy is going to be so important for us, particularly given if Chai was a hamstring, I'm fairly sure, even if he's just feeling it just now, I'm fairly sure they'll be cautious with that, because as we've seen recently to our detriment, you do not want to mess about with the hamstrings. Campbell's a difficult one, eh? He is a difficult one. Obviously came in and played really well at the weekend. Well, maybe really well is a stretch, to be fair. He played well. He did do well. He'll love playing in the Edinburgh derby. He's got plenty of energy in there. I thought maybe positionally at times defensively, Campbell looked a tad lost when at the weekend. Sort of, I'm not going to say the press, because we're only pressing them high, but the defensive press, I feel like there's a lot of times where he was just kind of floating around in no man's land.
Okay.
I don't know if that was just to fill an area, and maybe he's been told to do that, but it looked like he didn't really 100% know what he was meant to be doing. But I would hope that Tynecastle will be slightly higher up the park, even in a defensive sense, than we would have been at Celtic Park, certainly for the majority of the game anyway. So Campbell gives you undoubted legs in there. I would also not be opposed to Levitt. I know Levitt, his form has dipped a wee bit recently, but I think he definitely gives you that composure on the ball, which, and if he can get it right, like himself, in a derby, could be so good for us. Just that calm head in the middle, that when feet are flying all over the place and the ball's just getting swiped at, you've got Levitt there just to calm it down, pick the ball up and maybe spray it out to a wing back or whatever, and settle everybody down. alternatively, he could just get run over the top, and that's obviously a risk in a derby. So I would personally be going Mulligan, Levitt, and Campbell.
Okay. Is there would let's say that neither injury are to the point where they're going to miss time or that? Would you still be reluctant to start either Chaiba or McGrath just with the intensity of the game as well? Do you think?
I'd definitely be reluctant to start Chaiba, and McGrath as one that, look, if he feels fine, I would absolutely be putting him in. If he feels okay, we'd be going in place of that Campbell role. I was going to say Hoylett, but I just don't think that's a good idea to start him in a derby with the intensity. I feel like he would fall out of the game too quickly. And at the start of the game, certainly, I don't think he would offer you enough. I keep tossing between that midfield in my head now that I'm saying it. I'm like, I don't know if Levitt and Campbell in the same midfield at Tynecastle is a good idea.
Right.
What do you think?
I would go for so I would bring Mulligan into the middle of the midfield. If there's any sort of risk around Chaiba, I would definitely 100%. I'm bringing Mulligan into the middle of the pitch. Barlaser is playing for me. I think he plays. McGrath's the tough one. If he's let's just assume he's unavailable. Let's assume both of them are unavailable. I would play Josh Campbell in front of them. Yeah, because so my reasoning for that is that just think again, like this is I don't want to feel I'm probably overkilling it, but the tight pitch at Hearts, I just think to get up the pitch, one of the easier ways is going to be going a little bit more direct, trying to get them to turn. And Josh Campbell's sort of just aerial ability and ability to hold the ball up and be a nuisance in that sort of further up the pitch, in theory, would mean that either they're sort of holding midfielder or maybe even one of the centre backs would need to pick him up. And then for me, I'm still playing Bowie and Boyle. It kind of frees one of them up from that constant responsibility as well, So I like what Josh Campbell gives you in terms of getting up the pitch. His threat from corners. Truthfully, I don't think we've looked as good from set pieces when he's not been in the team. I think we started the season really well at corners, obviously, especially in European games. Rocky scored a couple. I know he scored against Kelly and stuff as well, but I do think Josh Campbell is a real threat at corners. I know it sounds silly, but and maybe a bit like gets it, but I don't think having a Hibs fan in your team in a derby is a bad idea either. Yes, I think if we assume the two players are injured, I'd go with Mulligan, Barlaser, and Josh Campbell. And
I don't mind that at all. To be fair, I don't mind that.
I think that's the way I would go. Hearts have been fairly robust in the middle of the pitch as well this season. From what I've seen, I've not really paid any attention to their last couple of games. I know at the start of the season they were sort of playing that Ocean McEntee in the middle of the pitch. I think at the weekend they maybe did change it up. Just looking here on FootMob, but like I'm sure I'm not 100% sure what they've been doing, but like I think Devlin, Beningame, like. Beningham's a good football player, to be fair to him, but Cammy Devlin's just a fucking.
Cammy Devlin's a dick, but Beningham's actually quite decent.
Yeah, but Cammy Devlin's just going to kick you, so I think you need to be able to win that battle as well, and Beningame is able to put his foot in, and I think as well you've got to factor in that it's a Derek McInnes team going into a derby that. Honestly, I've not really paid any attention to Hearts. Like I feel at the start of the season, I feel like I've seen a decent bit of them, but I've seen that goal the guy scored against their first was at the opener. Just seen that on Twitter. I don't know what happened in the rest of their game. I think he will tweak it to make them very, very sort of robust, and I think their intention will be to try and win the game inside the first half an hour, and I think we will need to be able to fight and be able to compete, and I think that midfield probably is if either Chaiwa or McGrath are out, I think I would go with that personally.
I think it's important in that first 30 minutes, so I'm fully expecting the same thing for them to come out for it. But you've got to counter punch at some stage.
Exactly.
You've got to come out and counter punch at them at some point, because if you just sit in, they'll score eventually. So I think we've got to be as strong as we were at Celtic Park, because it'll be similar, I would imagine, similar levels of sort of possession in the opening bits, and it'll be frantic as it always is. Just be solid, be strong, make the right decisions on the ball. Don't be making any of these stupid mistakes, because we all get punished, because obviously we've seen that plenty of times this season.
The good thing is we've got a lot of options. You know, like if Mulligan stays at right wing back, you can play Levitt. You know what I mean? Like there is. The good thing for me is you're potentially looking at 2 injuries there in the middle of the park, but now you're seeing, and obviously Manny's out as well, but you are seeing the benefit of us having the options there. Seen some good news as well. I think on the Observer yesterday or something saying that Joe Newell's going to be able to rejoin first team training as well. So at some point soon, I'm sure it said this week. Which obviously he's not going to play against Hearts, but just another option in an area of the pitch that is so important. It wins and loses games ultimately. But look, I've got a little impromptu game for you here, Craig. So this is just going to be very one way. I'm going to test your Hibs Derby trivia. I've taken inspiration from Liam's Guess Who. We're basically playing an Edinburgh Derby Guess Who. But I've only thought of this while we've been chatting this evening, so I do apologise if the clues aren't very good. But the overarching theme is all of these players have scored goals in Edinburgh Derbies, all right? I do have one question for you. If you win a game by 2 goals, do you consider the second goal there or the first goal the winner?
Probably the second goal. Second goal.
Right.
Because even if they get one back at that stage, then the second's still the winner, isn't it?
Perfect. Okay. Right. You ready to go?
Yes. Mate, help me out here if I'm struggling though.
Right. I started my, I'll say, Scottish top flight career playing for Falkirk. Do you want to guess? I'm only going to give you 3 clues per one this, because you do have the overarching theme of the game. You know, it's not.
These are Derby scorers.
Derby scorers.
Right.
I am currently a first team coach in the Scottish Premiership.
Right.
The goal I scored against Hearts, and sorry, just for it's a goal. It's goals in winning games as well. Just to even
Liam Craig.
Was that correct? Liam Craig. 1 out of 1. I said maybe I made that one too simple for you. Right. Number 3. Sorry, number 2. Number 2. I was born in Bordeaux. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I also started my Scottish football career at Falkirk.
Right.
My time at Hibs was hampered by injury. However, I scored 2 goals against Hearts. And that's your final clue.
Is it obvious? Just trying to think fucking French guys. Tom Tyball. No, he didn't score,
He's English, mate.
Is it? I thought he was French.
I'm sure he's English. Did he know?
I was going to say Boozy, but I was like, was he hampered by injury?
Tom Tyball was born in a place called Pudsey.
Oh, right, well, he's definitely no French.
I'll keep giving you clues, mate, until you get it right. Following leaving Hibs, I joined Dunfermline Athletic and went on to play for Dunfermline, Ayr United, and Edinburgh City before departing Scotland.
Fucking hell, mate. It must have been recent then, eh?
Edinburgh
City. Well, like, when I say recent, I mean like maybe 10 years ago, something like that.
The game that he scored the winner would have been 10 years ago.
Oh, Farid Telugu.
Correct, correct. What do you remember of either of his goals in derbies? The one at Easter Road obviously dinks the goalkeeper, but do you remember the goal he scored?
Tiny one was a screamer. That
Yeah.
would be an all-timer if it meant anything. Me and my brother
I-
all said that. We're like, see if that had meant something, that would have been an all-time greatest derby goal.
As our former podcast contributor Greg always likes to remind us, that was on his birthday as well. And Liam Craig missed a penalty to put us 1-0 up that game as well. Second game of the season in the Championship, I'm sure it was. How things could have been different. Right, here we go. I started
man. He's a stinker.
I hope you're paying attention to these as well, because what I'm going to get you to do is rank their derby winners at the end, all right? So
Right.
far we've got Farid El Alagui and Liam Craig, all right? So, first clue. I made my first team debut, so just senior football career, at Partick Thistle. Any guesses?
Not yet.
Okay. Prior to joining Hibs, my career was almost exclusively in the Scottish lower leagues. Give you another clue.
Right.
I have not scored a goal this season and I'm currently bottom of the Scottish Premiership.
And so he plays for Aberdeen now. Oh, Nisbet.
Correct. I just wanted to give you an opening.
You've tried to make him sound bad there,
eh? Right. Next question. Or next player, sorry. You've got 1, 2, 3 more. 4 more, actually. I think I've got 6 or 7 for you here just to fill this out, because then we're going to a tier list. Right. I was born in Bells Hill.
Uh-huh.
I have played exclusively in Scotland. Now, I'm going to asterisk that by saying, as far as his Wikipedia page goes, it's all in Scotland.
Uh-huh.
I left Hibs to join St Mirren. I'm going to keep giving you clues on this one. It's a harder one, I think. Any idea?
Well, no, I'm not going to guess yet, but I've got a name in my head.
Do you want to make a guess? Because you've had 3 clues.
No, I don't know.
Right, okay.
Because I don't think he scored. The one that I'm thinking of, I don't think he scored in the derby.
Right, okay. I'm going to give you a clue here as well that I think might... The last time you would likely have seen me play football was in one of the all-time Scottish Cup shocks.
All-time Scottish Cup chalk, so that's got to be Darvel, Aberdeen.
Correct, you've got the game. I can't remember if he played, but he was definitely in the squad.
For Darvel or for Aberdeen?
Oh, come on, I can't tell you that. The winning goal I scored was at Tynecastle.
Ross Caldwell.
Correct, Ross Caldwell.
I actually couldn't have told you the Darvel fact there, to be honest. Like that he was with them.
Oh, that's where my just little stupid head goes. Right. I'm gonna. These
probably
are
some listeners' screens getting punched right now for the length of time taking to get some of these.
Right. I'm going to try and give you some clues that maybe you can get them quick. Let's try and get through these 3 the last 3 in fairly quick fashion. All right.
Well, I'll try.
I left Hibs to return to the English lower leagues, which is where Hibs signed me from. So the EFL it was.
All right.
My most iconic game for Hibs was the game that I scored the winner against Hearts, which, to be fair, is probably true for everyone.
Uh-huh.
I am currently playing for a team which I played for earlier in my career in my country of birth.
Owen Doyle.
Didn't score
No,
the
he didn't
derby
score
winner.
against Hearts. No.
You're on the right train of
Give
thought.
me the last clue again.
I'm currently playing for a team which I played for before Hibs in the country of my birth.
James
Wasn't
Collins.
directly. Nope.
Oh, bastard.
James Collins isn't in this quiz because you said Liam. Oh no, actually, I got that wrong. Actually, to be fair, he should be. Liam Craig scored first in that game, didn't he? And Collins scored later on. I think I got that the wrong way around. I do apologise. Liam Craig and James Collins scored in the same game. We beat them 2-0.
Liam Craig got the penny.
Craig, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to. It's Daryl Horgan. I was just going to say Stevie.
Because he was. That's class, that mate. Top tier Hibs moment.
Right.
He was playing in the Champions League just a couple of seasons ago, wasn't he?
Dundalk, and he's still at Dundalk.
Yeah.
Look, I had Dwight Gale there. We've already mentioned Dwight Gale's goal, so we're not going to bother with that. Now, finally, this is our last one that we're going to rank here, okay? The first team that I played for in Scotland was Greenock Morton. I only scored one goal for Hibs, and it was the derby winner.
Right, carry on. Quick fire.
I only meant quick fire in terms of hopefully you getting them.
Fucking no chance, mate.
The goal I scored against Hearts, which is my only Hibs goal, won PFA goal of the season.
Oh, Iredale.
Correct! The last time Hibs played Hearts, Jack Iredale sending Lawrence Shankland into disbelief, as you can see.
Do you know what? I was actually
screen.
going to say to you that the Greenock Morton thing wasn't going to help me out at all, but it actually did. That's the one time I think your first clue has actually helped me.
Right, Craig. So what we're going to finish up here is a ranking of Hibs derby winners, right? So the goals that we've spoke about tonight include, I'll just run you through them, all right? So we've got Dwight Gale, we've got Jack Iredale, we've got Ross Caldwell, we've got Daryl Horgan, we have got Liam Craig. Actually, we'll do James Collins / Liam Craig because I can't really remember which order they were in. And Farid El Alagui. If you were to rank, do you know what we'll do? Seeing as we're unsure with the James.
Was James Collins not
Collins.
a 1-0?
No, it was 2-0. Do you remember? Do you know why it was 2-0?
2-1. The deflection. Did they not get a deflection like into the?
So the reason I'm adamant it was 2-0, and it was because I've just googled it. Oh no, wait, no. No, wait. Actually, is that right? Was it? It was 13-14. Maybe it was 2-1.
2-1, mate.
Oh well, there you go. Who scored the winner?
Liam Craig's penalty gave Terry
Craig.
Butcher's victory in his first Edinburgh derby.
Right. Well, penalties didn't count. So right. So we'll take Liam Craig out of that. Right. So you have got Dwight Gale, Jack Iredale, Ross Caldwell, Daryl Horgan, and Farid El Alagui's derby goals to rank in order of 1 to 5. It's your call in what order you would like to put them. Would you like to start at number 5?
El Alagui has to go bottom, I think.
Okay.
Just purely because it meant nothing. He
Yeah,
would
it was
have
the end of the season,
definitely been up there if that was a equaliser or a winner, but unfortunately
No,
not.
El Alagui scored a winner at Easter Road. They chipped the goalkeeper.
Oh right, I'm thinking about the one at Tiny. Of course, because it has to be winners. What am I talking about? No, do you know what? I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay. So that leaves you Dwight Gale, Jack Iredale, Ross Caldwell, and Daryl Horgan.
Now this one's probably going to irk a lot of people that were at the game.
4 really good goals.
Yeah, they're all good goals and they're all winners, so they all have individual merit, don't they? But I'm going to put Ross Caldwell fourth. That's maybe a bit controversial, but purely my bias because I wasn't at the game.
Okay, fair.
Number 3, Dwight Gale.
Okay. Which leaves Daryl Horgan's lovely side-footed effort, or Jack
I think they all
Iredale's
know where I'm
goal of
going
the
with this one.
season.
Horgan 2, Iredale 1. Iredale's the easy. He's the
See,
banker.
if we're talking pure goal, it's Iredale. But winning at Tynecastle away, I think the feeling is slightly different. So, like, is there any consideration to a winner at Tyney versus a winner at Easter Road there, or is that goal just far too clear?
It's definitely, there's definitely, I think that's probably just away games in general, isn't it, really? Away games are just better. It always feels better when you score in an away game. I feel like that's just really a fact of football, of people that do follow any of their teams away will experience that and will know that feeling. But I think Iredale, mate, whenever he scored that goal, I remember like just the feeling of shock around the stadium, and I was all kind of going here like, Hearts always seem to score the screamers against us. We never get the screamers, and we got a screamer. And I think it was just so good that I feel like that probably has to
Tips
take
over
it
the
in
edge.
terms of derby goals
I
overall.
think that's fair. What in terms of sort of memories of Tynecastle, what sort of does stand out for you? You've got Horgan's double, Boyle's double, Dwight Gale derby on Boxing Day last time we were there.
Cummings' goal, I think we actually drew one each, but that always sticks out to me. I think that was my first game at Tyney. So that one always sticks out to me personally.
And is it the white kit in the championship?
Scott Allen put
Yeah.
that, mate.
Gorgeous.
That was that period when he was just untouchable. He was so good. And Cummings as well was just the definition of a poacher. It was so good at that point.
Speaking of screamers, I'm sure they scored a fucking record equalising that game. I'm sure they did.
I think it might be been Jamie Walker or something like that. Across the goal into the far post. There you go. There's an arse. They score screamers against Hibs. We didn't do it enough. Start taking shots, Hibs.
Aye. So I mean, there has been a lot of good memories, at Tynecastle. Maybe
we've had good times.
Not even mention, Paul Hanlon getting it back from 2-2, going.
Oh, mate, mate, that's right up there, isn't it? Obviously, everything that goes along with that just makes that unbelievable. And I've got a class photo of that one, of when the goal was scored. I don't actually know if I've shown you that before.
I've definitely never seen it.
I've got it framed down the stairs of me and my dad were at the game. And when it was 2-0, I remember my dad, there was guys around us. I mean, they must have felt like Muppets after it, but right, oh, fuck this, I've had enough, right, we'll go to the pub. My dad looks at me, and I can't remember if he actually said it, but he definitely was like hinting, no, should we go? And I looked at him, I said, nah, I said, you never know. And then literally about a minute later, Cummings loops the header in.
Right.
And then from the equalisers, a class photo, because we were maybe 5-6 rows back, and Hanlon ran right in front of us, and there's a class photo of me and my dad.
Class.
So I've got that framed in there. So that unbelievable.
That is unreal. What who's going to be giving us that moment on Saturday night? Who's your game winner?
Who'd I fancy for a game winner?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? I'm gonna say our man Cleege is going to come off the bench, and I can see him doing something. I liked the look of him every time he's come on. To be fair, I thought he's looking fairly bright. Obviously, had a great game against Livingston. He came out at the weekend and probably had one of our only shots of the game. It did get blocked, but for a millisecond, it looked like it was going to be good. So no, look, I'll back Cleege. One player that I would absolutely love to get a winner would be Josh Campbell. That would just make it an unbelievable evening for myself. So Cleege off the bench, or I'd like to see Josh Campbell get one.
I love that. I think I'm going to. I think it's always really simple to go for strikers, right? But I think Kieran Bowie, this is tailor-made for him. I think he's got that. I think he's got that little bit of swagger, right? And I think he's got that little bit of just ego and self-confidence that strikers needs. And what that gives them is in the biggest games, on the biggest moments, they a lot of the time will step up and produce.
Uh-huh.
And I can see, obviously, dark, under the floodlights, maybe it's pissing with rain, Kieran Bowie fucking lasers one. Maybe like a turn for the edge of the box, bottom corner, knee slide in front of the away end. Oh, mate, I can close
Mate,
my
I'm
eyes and it's
I'm
right
front row
there.
as well.
It's
So
right there. It's right there. You'll
Kieran,
have
if you're
another.
listening, you won't be. Slide into me, please, when you
You've
score.
got
I'd like
You've
that.
got another framed picture. Well, mate, look, I think that'll do us there. Look, it's Monday. The derby's not
That
till.
sounded so
It's
I like you,
Monday. The
Kieran, know
derby's
that
on.
much.
The derby's on Saturday. The derby fever's only going to ramp up Saturday night at Tynecastle. You can't really ask for much more than that for an away derby. I believe Hibs are going to get the job done. I do believe that. Kieran Bowie is going to be the match winner, or Josh Campbell, or Thibaut Clegy, or who the fuck cares? Hibs are going to
Don't
win the
care.
game. That's all that matters. I'm on the cabbage.
My abs.